Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla, and for today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to prepare for a recession. To clarify, this video is not to scare anyone. I don't want to cause any sort of panic. I'm going to talk you through what exactly a recession is and how you can prepare for it, because this is just something that we deal with. And for many people, including myself, as an adult, I have never actually lived through a true recession. The last major recession that we had in the United States was 2007 to 2009, and I was still in high school at that time. So I'm sure plenty of people watching this, did live through that, and they were adults. They had careers during that time or had a house at that time. But I have never experienced an actual recession. So this is a great learning opportunity. And it's honestly, in my opinion, nothing to be afraid of. This is a great opportunity to learn, as I said, but also to build your wealth and get your finances in order. A recession is defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative gross domestic product, or GDP. Now, recently, I believe it was on October 14th, Friday, October 14th, the US did unveil that we are technically in a recession. The US economy did shrink for 2 consecutive quarters. However, there's other things that go along with this, and there are economic groups that actually declare when we are in a recession. But because of this economic shrinkage over the last 2 quarters, we can assume that a recession is coming, or if not, then at least this is something to prepare for at some point in the future, because it's just bound to happen. The other thing is we can kind of just pay attention to what's going on in our life. So if you go to the grocery store and your groceries are costing you more money, gas is costing you more money, maybe you're having a harder time getting a raise at your company or finding a job, things are just starting to get a little bit more difficult in the economy, and I think all of us are feeling that, and that is a great indicator of a recession coming. Recessions are completely normal. This is just a part of American history, of world history and economics. The economy will recover. The average recession lasts about 17 months on average, but there is no way to predict the length of that. So it could be, a few months, it could be a couple of years, or possibly even longer than that. But the average is 17 months. And as I said, this video is not here to scare anyone. I simply just want you to be prepared and aware of what's going on so that you are ready financially. First thing I want to mention is that you should prioritize bulking up your emergency fund. Over the next few months, I definitely suggest that you throw as much as you can to your emergency fund. I don't suggest pulling into any retirement funds. Don't sell any stock or anything. We're going to get to that in just a moment, but you don't need to do that. Just spend the next several months building up your emergency fund if you can. And then even once you reach a solid amount, so I would suggest at least 3 months of basic expenses. But once you get to that, I suggest continuing to add to it for the time being. The reason for this is because during a recession, there are often job layoffs. You may lose your job, and I really hope that doesn't happen to anybody here, but it's just something that you want to prepare for in case that happens. And so, of course, if you have an emergency fund, if you have cash to fall back on, you don't risk, falling behind on any of your bills or losing your housing situation, anything really bad from that. The other thing that we're dealing with are price increases. So as I said, we're seeing prices increase at the gas pump, at the grocery store, rent, housing, all of these different areas that have greatly impacted us. And if things continue to increase, you may need to pull from your emergency fund to pay for certain things. Or again, if anything happens to your job, you want to be able to have cash to fall back on. I also suggest that you save your money in a high yield savings account, because currently the rates are going up, which is a great thing. A high yield savings account is a much better place to store your money rather than just a regular bank account or as cash, because with those you're not going to be gaining interest really at all. So it's best to keep it in a high yield savings account and then gain a little bit of interest every single month and continue adding to that. So I use Marcus by Goldman Sachs. I will have My referral link down in the description box, but there are a few to choose from. I also have a video on some of the best ways to quickly boost your savings, so I will link that down below. I have a blog post to go along with that if you prefer to read as well. Number 2 is prioritize paying down your high interest debt. So this is probably going to be your credit cards, maybe some personal loans, or even car loans depending on your interest rate, but definitely that credit card debt. I do suggest prioritizing your emergency fund before this, which is why I said that first. But once you hit your 3 months at least of basic emergency fund savings, then go ahead and move on to your high interest debt. So we are seeing interest rates rise in our high yield savings account and such, but also on debts, including credit card debt, mortgages, personal loans, etc. So if the interest rates are increasing on any of your debts, that means, of course, you are paying more for that. The longer you have it, the more you are going to pay. The quicker you pay it down, the less you are going to pay, and then you can save more money. It's also worth looking into either a balance transfer or a personal loan with a lower interest rate. I do have a video on this, which I can link down below. Number 3 is continue investing and do not touch any of your investments. And with that being said, I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring today's video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. Y'all know how much I love learning more about finances, so I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. As of October 19th, 2022, Stock Advisor recommendations have returned an average of 330% since inception of the service. You can visit fool.com/Layla, that's fool.com/LEILA, to get your 10 stock picks now. Now, unless you absolutely need your money from your investments, like this is life or death, I do not recommend you sell anything. Do not touch your retirement accounts. Don't touch your brokerage account. If you're going to touch it, put more money to it. Many of you probably have heard that recessions are where millionaires are made. So no, maybe you may not become a millionaire from this recession alone, but it will certainly get you closer. For months now, I've been talking about stocks being on sale, which means this is the best time to buy because you are buying stocks, mutual funds, index funds, whatever it is that you prefer to buy at a lower rate. And in the long run, these are going to grow. They're going to get bigger. You are going to earn dividends on them, the capital gains, all of these things, and you will build your wealth from investing during these low times. With that being said, there is no need to time the market. You don't need to try and wait for the lowest point of the stock market. There's no need to do that. You can continue dollar cost averaging or just continue to invest every week, every other week, every month, whatever it is that you prefer to do. And this will definitely get you closer to millionaire status. It may be tough to look at your investment accounts and, put money in, but then just see your balance drop. I suggest avoiding that if you're somebody who's mentally affected by it, but just know that it is okay. That is completely normal. It will grow soon. Number 4 is to maintain/improve your skill set. This is really important for anybody who works in an industry that is more prone to layoffs, but really it could affect anybody. So you really want to make sure you are at least maintaining your skill set, but even improving. And that may even be learning something new or just, something in a different industry. The reason for this, of course, is that if you do go through a job loss, if you do get laid off from your job, you have your resume to go, you have your skills ready to go, and you can start applying for jobs as soon as possible, and then hopefully not have too long of a time where you are out of a job. Y'all know that earlier this year I did transition careers, so I used to be a microbiologist and now I am a Salesforce consultant. And while I don't think that my company will face this issue, I definitely don't know. And it is something that I am working on. So I'm going to continue studying Salesforce as a platform. I'm going to continue learning how to be a better consultant. I'm going to work toward other certifications in Salesforce. Yeah, just overall, I want to make sure I maintain and keep up with the current skills that I have and keep on learning. If you are interested in transitioning careers, in particular into the Salesforce industry, I am part of the Talent Stacker program. I am now considered an alumni because I do have a Salesforce job, but I have a couple of videos related to that, which I can link down below, as well as a link to the free 5-day Salesforce challenge. and you can learn more about Salesforce in general. Final thing I'm going to touch on is increasing your income / creating multiple sources of income. Honestly, it feels like everyone has a side hustle these days or a second job. I feel like that's almost necessary to get by these days. At least I feel that way, because if I didn't have my side hustles, I would not be as far as I am with my finances. And it's honestly, I'm not even that far yet. So it's, we definitely need to work on increasing our income and growing more sources of income, because if we lose one of them, then at least we have some sort of cash coming in. It's kind of that concept that you may have heard about having a table, like a literal dining table. If it has one leg on it, so if you have one job and that leg falls off of the table completely falls over. But if you have 4 legs on that table, 4 sources of income instead, and one of those legs gets chopped off or you lose one of those sources of income, you still have 3 kind of balancing and holding you up a little bit. So yeah, overall, it's just a great thing to have multiple sources of income, because it does help you to, do things in your life that you want to. It gives you more money to do things that you want to, but also to invest more, to pay more debt, to save more, any of your financial goals, as I always say. But it's also great during these times when things are a little bit unknown and all of us are facing potential job loss. The extra income will also help with all of the inflation that we're seeing on day-to-day goods. Those are my main tips for preparing for a recession. If you have lived through a recession as an adult with a career and it affected you in any way, negative, positive, please comment that down below. It would be really helpful, since even myself, I have not gone through this, so it would be really great to see any sort of insight into what to expect. Thank you again to the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. If y'all are interested in their services, then be sure to check out fool.com/Layla or go to the description box for more information. Comment down below what you're doing to prepare. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.